So I'm
Mhm.
looking at the numbers and then I'll call them back and say, hey, this is what we're able to do for you. You're able to stay in the property. And then at closing, you're getting all of this money so that you can have a more comfortable living arrangement. You're not going to have to worry about the taxes anymore. We're going to get all of that taken care of for you.
Jason, thank you for joining me for our Thought Leader Spotlight series. I'm your host over here, Matt Camp, head of partnerships at DealMachine. And on these, we like to shine an industry spotlight on experts like yourself, hear your inspiring story, and see how you see the real estate world evolving. So today, really excited to welcome on Jason Lucchesi. I know you're the founder of No Flipping Excuses in 2008 after finding quick success in the real estate industry. You had a background as the number one loan officer in the country. And also now at this point, you've been a part of over $315 million in closed real estate transactions. So quite a track record, man. Excited to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show today. Super excited and can't wait to share a ton for your guys' viewers and subscribers, listeners, all that good stuff.
Appreciate that. Yeah, can you tell me more? I mean, I mentioned a little bit on your personal story there, but can you tell us more of like how you got into the real estate space and like real estate investing, especially?
Yeah, absolutely. So got into real estate back in 2002. I was maybe a year out of high school. Decided that I didn't want to go to college or anything like that. That really wasn't my cup of tea. Got into mortgages, did telemarketing for a little bit, and then got into the lending side. And to just fast forward ahead, um, it's back like maybe fall of 2007. I started really seeing things start to get a little, scary in the
Right.
business. That's when a lot of the banks started going belly up. We started seeing big financial institutions just bye bye. They're gone. So I decided to get out, and we were in New Jersey at the time. And for anybody that's in New Jersey at the time, I'm sorry, this isn't a jab at you. New Jersey just wasn't my cup of tea. So we decided to leave, come back here to Indiana, and we really just decided to try and plant our roots here. We really like Indiana, and from there, got into real estate. I started watching all the TV shows, flip this house, flip that house, and I bought a course from one of them. I was listening to one of their radio ads. I kind of got into it that way, and spent quite a lot of money over the years on training. And
Mhm.
it took me about probably 10 months to get my first deal done just because I was just not knowing where to start. It was very frustrating, but got the deal done. And then from there, it just kind of took off like a snowball effect and started doing short sales, notes, lease options, wholesaling, tons of different stuff from there started to happen from that one particular deal. And now here we are, 2024. I still can't believe it's 2024, but yeah, we're here, man. We're rocking and rolling. Super excited about it. Lots of closed transactions over the years, and
Crazy, yeah.
yeah, absolutely, man. It's been a crazy but fun ride. You
For
got to
sure.
enjoy the experience, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. um, nice. And I know, before this, you'd mentioned how you have a really interesting approach on just working with sellers to really find those win-win situations, which I love your mindset on that of trying to bring value to people. Can you maybe walk us through how you do that? Like how you kind of pitch multiple options. I know you mentioned like the tax assistance approach is part of that. Like maybe walk our audience through how you think about working with sellers like this.
Yeah, so I started doing this when I was in the mortgage industry. I would always try and, give, people that I was talking to on the phone three different options. So I kind of translated that over to real estate investing because I saw, if I'm going to make any type of a dent or if I'm going to try and get any deals under contract, I've got to do something different because everybody is sending out the yellow letters with the red font. So I have to do something different so that I can stand out. So I typically will pitch three different options. It doesn't matter if they're in foreclosure, if they are tax delinquent, if they're in probate. I'll try and craft and create multiple options to give to them so they don't feel like they're backed into a corner and that's all they have. So typically, let's just go with tax delinquent because that's one of our favorite niches of all time. So in the tax lingual blueprint program we have, we show people exactly how to find these leads of people that they own their properties free and clear, but they have a huge amount owed from a tax delinquent standpoint. So they have tons of equity, lots of different options that we can do there. So we usually come in. A lot of these people want to stay in the house, Matt. So
Mhm.
we'll pitch, hey, we'll buy the property and then you can lease it back. So that's option one. Option two is they may not be able to qualify to either do a refinance or a purchase with option one because you do have to have a good debt to income ratio at that standpoint. So if we've identified, hey, you're on a fixed income, you're more than likely your situation is not going to correct itself. Option two will be a huge play. They get to still stay in the house, but we call that the rent back option. So still, we'll come in, we'll purchase it, but they will be able to stay in the house. They don't have to uproot or anything like that. We'll give them, a slight discount on the rent compared to what everything else is going for in the area, and we could do that as well with them so that they get infused with a lot of capital. They don't have to worry about the taxes anymore, the upkeep, anything like that. So all that becomes our burden at that point. Number
Mhm.
three would just be a straight out, hey, we'll buy your house for cash, but we'll do a moving expenses and a relocation expense too. So what that means is a lot of these people are older, so they need help. So what we'll do is we'll step in, we'll find them another place, we'll do all of the heavy lifting. So we'll find them the place that they want in the zip code typically that they'll let us know, and then from there we'll help them out with hiring a moving company so they don't even have to lift a finger. They want to leave stuff at the house, they could leave it there, and whatever they want over at the new house, we'll make that happen for them. And then one of the new ones that's kind of been a little bit new for us is like a novation.
Mhm.
So we'll work directly with the homeowner from a partnering standpoint so that if they do want to leave, but say the house needs like 30, 40, maybe 50 grand of work, we'll step in, we'll help out from that standpoint and do the repairs. And then we'll both split in on the profits at that point. So the Novation one's still a little bit new, especially for us. I know a lot of people are starting to use that approach.
Mhm.
We just used like before the whole novation thing came about. Like I know it's a big buzzword now. Is we
Mhm.
would just call that, hey, we'll partner with you, Mister Homeowner, and we'll put in all of the money that you don't have, and you'll make at least this amount plus 10, 15% of what we sell it for um, by us putting in the money to fix up the property. So that's kind of how we do it. If we don't use the whole novation verbiage, we
Mhm.
call it that. So it's typically four options that we're going to try and present to people.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, how do you go about identifying, a property and really going through and understanding like, hey, this is a good fit for these options? Like, can you kind of walk us through that process of how you get to that conversation in the first place?
Sure. So we'll send off, our direct tax assistance marketing campaign.
Hmm.
And it's going to be typically because right now our business model is about 70% wholesaling. The other 30% is for buy and holds. And that could either be for long-term residentials, multifamily properties, or our favorite one is Airbnbs. So there's still some really great spots without covenants and restrictions that we really like that. But to get to your point is we try and identify certain zip codes of where a lot of activity is happening from a cash buyer standpoint.
Hmm.
You could get that data for free on several different platforms that are out there. And we typically will go on and find the zip codes that have the most activity, and that's where we're going to deploy all of our marketing at. A lot of people start seeing that as, oh man, there's too much competition there. We don't really view it like that because with our tax assistance approach, we will always get the calls over a lot of the other people that are mailing those same exact leads just because of the approach that we're using.
Hmm.
So we typically will use something like that in order to identify the market and then start mailing off to those zip codes that we know once we get a deal locked up and under contract, we can more than likely get rid of it, within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Nice. What do you put on that? I mean, I know you said your mailers like that get an awesome response rate. Like, can you kind of summarize what that mailer usually looks like?
Yeah, so the mailer itself, we're putting all in there that they may be able to qualify for tax assistance through receiving a tax credit or a tax voucher from us. Because what we do is we have set up in our business entity, and for other people that get involved with our program, we show them how to do this to where you could put two, three, $4,000 into your entity that's allotted for giving people, 50 to $1,000 as far as like being able to provide assistance for them.
Mhm.
um, and then because when these people call, they're calling to get qualified for that tax assistance to either get a tax credit or a tax voucher from us. We're not anything with the state or anything like that. It's just simply us trying to help the community.
Mhm.
So in that letter, it states things about, a certain code that they have to call in with that's on the letters so that they can qualify, so that we know that it's them. We also have in the letter that, they have to be an owner occupant in order to get qualified, and that the assistance is only for one property per year. It can't be for multiple properties. So we're really making sure that they know that it's just for the one property, and that it's on a first come, first served basis, and that we don't have unlimited funds to provide for everybody due to the area. So we
Mhm.
try and make that crystal clear. We let them know, though, that we're here for them and that we do have multiple options to provide for them.
Yeah, love that approach. So if say you're talking to the seller and you're laying out these multiple options, can you kind of give us the a quick little crash course on each of those three or four options? You give them like how to execute on that, just for the more newbies on here who have, we have a fair number of people that are watching here trying to do that first deal that may or may not have the confidence of how to pull off one of those things, right? So could you maybe give us that small crash course on each option?
Yeah. So the most common question is, what agreement do we use, right?
Hmm.
For all three of those options, except for the novation one, we're just going to use a standard purchase and sales agreement. The main reason why on all three, the first three that I discussed here just a little bit ago, we're going to do what's called an A to B B2C transactions. We're not going to do an assignment of contract just because of typically the amount of spread or profit on these particular deals is north of $15,000. So if you're closing with a brand new cash buyer, they might not like that you're making that type of money. So what we do is an A to B B2C transaction to avoid that. And if you're working in an investor friendly title company, you don't have to use a transactional funder. Typically, there's a special rider. It's called like an escrow agreement in a lot of different states, that the end buyer will sign off on that rider, the escrow agreement, acknowledging that their funds are going to be used to fund your deal. So as long as your title company is aware of that, they are good to go. Now, breaking down option number one, the leaseback scenario, is you are going to talk to your cash buyers about, hey, we've got this property. It's at a rock solid discount. We're ready to move on this with you. Here's the scenario. We've got Sally in the property. She wants to stay in the property, and she understands that she would like to lease the property and buy it back at some point. Would you be open to that? But here's the caveat: she's going to get infused with a lot of capital. She's willing to pay for 12 months up front. So it adds a lot to the investor right out of the gate. Hey, I'm going to get infused with 12 months of up or rent or lease option payments up front. And it adds a sense of security, like, hey, I've got this property. It's good to go. They will do the lease option agreement. Then the homeowner will file against the property that they have the first right to purchase that property. More than likely, since how it would be structured is they would just simply refinance the end buyer off the property. I know it's if you haven't done it before, what I'm talking to you right now is it's like you're trying to solve an answer on Jeopardy. Most of us aren't going to get those right. So um, if what I'm saying is kind of going over the head, it's fine. We've all been there before, but watch this over and over again so that you understand it, because this is a really great option for you. So all of the technical stuff, you're not going to even have to worry about it. The ultimate end buyer will do the lease option. They will have all of those numbers, everything in place, and then the title company could draft up what's called a notice of option to purchase for, I believe, notice of option for purchase. And that will go on that property as an option, which means that they can exercise that option at any time during their lease agreement terms. Now, why it's also attractive for the end buyer is they're putting on there that the person's going to buy the property from them or refinance within a 3 year period or 5 year period, whatever it is for them. And they're also that individual that's doing the lease option is purchasing at a future price. So with an appreciation that you're going to have in there from that standpoint, that's going to help out with being able to have your investor understand, hey, I'm getting this property at a massive discount. I'm also going to be able to sell it at a future price because they're not going to be ready to buy it in 3 years, 5 years, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
So that's option one. Option two, same type of scenario, except lease agreement is rental agreement. Rental agreement's also going to be done by the end buyer. The end buyer will have all of that in place. On the A to B side, funds are going to be taken out, and then on the B to C side, that individual is going to receive 12 months of rent plus a security deposit. So that's how that's going to work. And then in the lease agree or in the rental agreement, it's also going to state that they can extend their stay past the 12 months. So they could renew. They would have the first right to renew. So that's not like after 12 months, it's like, what do they do? Are they kicked out on the street? Nope, nothing like that. There's a renewal term in there that they can be the first people to renew on it. Now, there could be a rental escalation in there that it goes to market rent after that 12-month period, but that's typically up to the end buyer at that
Hmm.
point. And then option three, Matt, is just simply a purchase and sales agreement. You're going to have one on the A to B and then B to C. So two purchase and sales agreements. That's it for option three. And then typically what we do, if we're making, let's just say 17, $18,000 on a deal, typically $2,000 to $3,000 will go back and help with from a moving expense standpoint for that property owner so that
Hmm.
they literally don't have anything out of pocket to worry about.
Yeah, love that value add you bring to them. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
nice. Yeah, I appreciate you breaking that down. I know it's like you said, a lot to digest, but it's something that you like you said, rewatch it, make it more approachable as you get familiarize yourself with each individual term, each individual approach. Um, and I know you said in general, like it seemed like one of the biggest issues for people who are watching this trying to do that first deal is just getting out of their comfort zone and really talking to people, talking to sellers like that. Um, how do you help people really face that fear and like overcome that and have the right mindset? Like, do you have any advice there for those folks?
Yeah, it's just, the biggest thing, and Matt, we've all been there. You've been there. I've been there.
Hmm.
We've all had bad phone calls and, we get discouraged after them. But it's all about just making phone calls and just having these conversations with people. The best thing that I would tell you to do is like, I remember as soon as I graduated high school, I started selling Cutco knives. So for anybody out there that's, sold Cutco knives, that's a very tough sell. You're selling knives, first of all. Most of the time, it's to strangers. And I remember when I was first getting started, I literally had my bag of knives, and then right behind the bag of knives, I had my little folder. And I was literally looking over, reading a little bit of it, and then making eye contact. So it's so awkward. But you have to do those types of things to, get better and
Hmm.
make sure your craft is coming to light. So what I would recommend, maybe role play in the mirror or role play with a friend. Um, and most of the people that we're doing from the tax assistance approach, they're not going to be like your normal people to where like they're rude, they're disrespectful. These people are calling because they're trying to get assistance because they're about to lose their property. So they will literally tell you everything that you need to know. And then you just have a simple conversation with them. You go over those three options. So let's just say they say, yeah, I want to stay in the property. Let's go with the option one. Okay, cool. I'm going to give you a call back. And when I call them back, Matt, the reason why I say I'm calling them back is so that I could put together my numbers, my maximum allowable offer. So I'm
Hmm.
looking at the numbers and then I'll call them back and say, hey, this is what we're able to do for you. You're able to stay in the property. And then at closing, you're getting all of this money so that you can have a more comfortable living arrangement. You're not going to have to worry about the taxes anymore. We're going to get all of that taken care of for you. So just having simple conversations with them, like giving them multiple options, I think is going to help quite a bit because a lot of people get discouraged, like, oh, I don't know what type of offer to make. I don't know what they're going to say. Well, try and find that out on the first call. If they say, hey, I want option number one, do you have a number in mind that you were looking to receive? And then just be like, I want to take that to my team. And if you don't have a team, that's fine, but you could just let them know, hey, I need to go. I need to make sure that this would make sense for us, so I'm going to get
Mhm.
back to you. Just simple little things to try and get numbers from them out of the gate, just so you can have something to play around with when you're putting together your figures. So making calls, and just understand that you're going to get a lot of no's more than you are yeses, but you just have to be able to have somewhat of thick skin when
Mhm.
talking to these people, or else I'll promise you this: somebody else will make the call, somebody else will get the deal, and then you're going to be out, and that person might have made 25,000 that you could have made. So it's all
Mhm.
about, do you really want to do this business? Do you have faith in yourself? And are you okay with somebody's telling you no? So that's basically it. We've all been told no, middle school, elementary, high school, all that type of stuff. So we've all been told no again. So we just need to be big girls and big boys and go out there and make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, you're so right. Where one, it's a numbers game, and the more reps you put in, like every no you get, you're closer to that yes, right?
Yep.
So I 100% agree. I mean, and the Cutco thing too. I mean, for sure. Like I know I did quite a few like fundraisers growing up, where it's literally just like, hey, go knock on doors and like go like
Yep.
just that little thing of being able to not care if they say no and you're talking to strangers, like getting over that hump really
Yep.
assists you long term, and especially in this space. So
Right.
um, nice, man. Yeah, I know one thing on our end as well. You say you put together some kind of training to help our audience learn more of the specifics around this approach, right?
Yeah, we have a full 90-minute training that people can go check out. It's specifically for people that are coming over from Deal Machine. They want to get a little extra training. We'll,
Awesome.
we'll walk through that whole entire process that we did from a tax assistant standpoint. So if it's something that you want to do, you could at least go get the training for it. And we put together a little link specifically for you guys. It's noflippingexcuses.com deal machine. So noflippingexcuses.com deal machine. So super excited to share that with your folks. And, I'm sure they're going to absolutely love that
Mhm.
training that we put out.
Yeah, I love that this approach is really helping. Like you said, it's helping someone out in a situation where they really need help, and it's giving them great options to have them, kind of engineer the outcome that they want. So, I think that removes a lot of barriers on talking to sellers and like understanding how to come to that price with them and everything. So, I appreciate you putting that together for us, man. This was fantastic. Like, we'll have to have you back on. And is there any other way that our audience can get in touch with you?
Yeah, we have our website. It took a little bit of time, but we've got noflippingexcuses.com.
It's a great
Is
domain.
up
Yeah.
and running, and people could check us out. We've got our YouTube channel, noflippingexcuses.com. Lots of great
Hmm.
goodies on there. And if you guys are part of Deal Machine and you come on over, let us know that you listen to this episode. We would love to have you. Deal Machine, I've known
I
one
was
of the
going to mention
guys
that.
over there for 10 plus years when he was just getting
Yeah.
started. So known Deal Machine for a long time. They're a great group. I highly recommend that you stay with them and get out there, start taking pictures of more properties. I know we're going to start incorporating a lot more of it for our folks on our side. So highly recommend, highly encouraged. Deal Machine is such a great tool for you to get some great off market properties.
Appreciate it, Jason. Yeah, I was gonna say I know you've known David for. I mean, you go way back, so that is appreciate you being such a great advocate for us over the years. Excited to do more moving forward. And again, we'll link to everything that you just mentioned there below in this video. But really appreciate you coming on today and spending your time helping our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you reaching out and having me on. It's been a blast. So thank you so much. And for those out there, keep your head up. I know it's tough right now in the market, lots of different things going on in the economy, but keep your head up. Make your own create your own economy. Create it. It's up to you. You can make it happen. You don't have to worry about inflation or any of the other stuff. You could go out there and literally create your own economy. So, real estate is that tool, that avenue to make it happen. So, again, Matt, thanks so much for having me, buddy. Appreciate
Love
it.
that. Awesome. Thanks again, Jason. And I really enjoyed the conversation. Matt Camp over here with Deal Machine, guys. And thanks for watching. Happy deal finding.